Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, IIMFL and Smart Money Alliance. It is a beautiful Friday morning, Friday the 13th, strangely enough, and it's just a minute before 8 o'clock Central. We get together most weekdays, most Mondays through Fridays at this time on a Zoom webinar with our distribution partners. And we have different types of distribution partners that do different things. But typically our content is overlapping enough that it's useful for everyone. At least we hope that it is. Today, we're going to talk just one-on-one about money. Money 101. And we're going to start with this question at the top of the page here. What is the key to earning a great income? Now, you could have a variety of different answers, but I'll tell you my answer, and it ties into the rest of what we're going to talk about on today's webinar. It's having a solution to someone else's problem. I know a guy, and he delivers DoorDash. So, he'll make on average $20 an hour. I would suspect that pretty much anyone, if you had transportation, you could deliver DoorDash, and anyone could pretty much go out and make 20 bucks an hour. Now, interestingly, that's more than what the average American makes, but it's certainly not a great income. Plus, you have wear and tear on the car and other inherent dangers of being out in the community. But the bottom line is anyone can earn good income. To earn a great income, what we need to do is have a solution to other people's problems. And that's going to be the construct we're going to talk about on today's webinar, is 3 ways that we could work together to earn not only what we'll call a great income, but an adult income. So let's go through those and you can let us know your thoughts. So the first of which, and I think this is important that we go through because sometimes I think it's easy to get lost in the details, but really we just need to pick one of these 3 strategies and execute. So let's go through each of them and we'll certainly answer questions or concerns you have. So what is the problem that our credit literacy educators solve? We help people improve their credit in terms of the problem that they have, I should say, is bad credit that's keeping them from accessing capital for mortgages, automobiles, business, financing, so forth. So that's the problem they have. Now, people with bad credit that don't plan on using their credit usually don't care about their credit, or at least as much. We all should, but it's when we want to use our credit and it's not good enough to accomplish what we want that is a very motivating factor. And again, from the consumer perspective, it's often cars and houses. And from an entrepreneur perspective, it's usually business financing. So there's the problem. And our solution is, quite simply stated, we help people add an average of 100 points to their credit scores in 30 to 60 days with no upfront fees. And in today's environment, this is a very important attribute. So we know the problem. People's credit is keeping them from getting what they want. And we've got a great solution with no upfront fees. To me, that's pretty darn powerful. But let's go on. What's in it for you? Because this is the conversation today, is Money 101. How do you make money by us working together? Well, all you do is refer someone in. As a credit literacy educator, you do not sell anything to anyone. You simply refer them in, of course, on a landing page that we provide, and you're paid $5 for every point increase that we help them with. The average is a 100-point increase, so you can do the math. $5 times 100, you're going to earn on average $500 for putting a name on a landing page. And this is a problem that a whole lot of people have. Now, how do you do it? Super simple. You get signed up as a credit literacy educator and you drive prospects into your landing page. What's the key variable here? You have to drive prospects into your landing page. And so you have to have some competency, some ability to do that, to get the word out, whether it be your warm market, social media, key influencers, what have you. If you can't do this, then you're not going to solve the problem, because while our program exists, if you've not created prospects that are going into your landing page, you're not contributing to anyone's solution. They still have, people still out there have the problem, but if you're not contributing to the solution, then you make no money. And so that's really as simple as it is. Get signed up as a credit literacy educator, drive prospects in, get paid. So that's scenario number one. Let's move on to the second one. And as we go down, these get more increasingly involved. So I'll just be clear with you. So we're moving, I don't want to say from simple to hard or easy to hard, but we're certainly going to move from the level of least involvement, least amount of work to the most amount of work. So now we're on number two. What is the problem that our financial literacy educators address? Small businesses wanting capital to either get started or to grow. Again, no shortage of these prospects. Absolutely no shortage. This isn't going door to door trying to sell a vacuum, hoping that they're in the need of a new vacuum. Nearly every small business, not all, but nearly every small business fits in this category. What's the solution that you and I provide? We will provide them a guaranteed $100,000 capital raise with no upfront fees. No upfront fees. And you see a rather consistent message here. No upfront fees when we're solving this problem up here. No upfront fees when we're solving this problem here. What's in it for you? Because again, that's the goal of today's conversation, Money 101. What's in it for you? Well, as a financial literacy educator, if you're licensed, then you sell a key person policy. So one of two things is happening right now. If you're not licensed, you say, well, that's irrelevant, and that's fine, and I don't disagree with that. If you're life insurance licensed, you're saying, oh my gosh, this is the best lead generation system I've ever seen. It doesn't cost me anything to become an educator, which is really an affiliate. And secondly, it's a problem that almost everyone has, and it's sure a lot easier to talk to people about a 501c3 that offers a no upfront cost solution to a capital raise with a guaranteed $100,000 than it is to say, hey, could we sit down and talk about your insurance needs? So that's one of the three bullets. The second is when the client pays the refundable deposit, which isn't until after their first capital raise, so it's coming out of the capital raise, not out of their pocket, you get $1,000 for that. You don't have to do any work. You're not doing the mentoring anymore. We got rid of that. And then lastly, you're earning 1% of the client's capital raise. Well, we know that we're guaranteeing them at least $100,000 capital raise. So 1% of $100,000 is $1,000 minimum. Now, certainly could be a much larger capital raise, still 1%. So if it's $1 million, then you're getting $10,000 and so forth. But there's no cost to be a financial literacy educator. It's essentially being an affiliate. You're able to sell a whole lot more life insurance policies. I know one of you had 7 new clients to write policies on yesterday alone. I mean, that's more policies than the average insurance agent probably writes in a month. That's how many new clients he started writing policies on yesterday. And then, of course, you're getting the 1,000 and the 1%. Well, how do we go about becoming a financial literacy educator? Now that we've simplified it, it just doesn't get any better. You just simply become an affiliate and you'll drive prospects either into your landing page or into the main website, and then you get paid. Now, I guess that's probably a misrepresentation. If you're going to sell the policy, you're going to, of course, need to sell the policy, but no longer do our financial literacy educators need to be burdened with mentoring clients. So it's really as simple as feeding them in. If you're going to sell the policy, of course, sell the policy. But other than that, just get paid. Pretty good proposition, I think. All right, now let's get down to the third. So now we've gotten to the most complicated, most involved role of the three. Not to say that it's not great, but we need to go into it eyes wide open. So let's look at it. This is where you're managing a branch. We now refer to those as incubators. So we've set up our first incubator here in Texas, and we're looking to work with as many of you as you would like for us to set up incubators together. And so let's talk about the problem that we're addressing with that model. Many small businesses are not properly structured for a successful capital raise. Again, we know that different sources of capital have different underwriting requirements, but we know that some of them require you to be more credible, such as having a commercial address, a business phone number listed with directory assistance, a website, using QuickBooks to generate interim financial statements, and so forth. Those are all embedded aspects that we provide for free to incubator clients. They don't have to buy any of those. The second application of an incubator is setting up shell companies. We had a recent training on shell companies and how those work. They're legal, they're ethical, they're very aggressive. And if you go to the incubator page of the IIMFL website, the YouTube is there. So these are two potential problems that we could solve together here. And the solution is we have them enroll in your incubator. Now you can refer them to us and they can enroll in our incubator, which is fine. But here we're talking about setting up an incubator together that you're running, that you own, that you're getting paid to run. Now, what's in it for you? What's the pay? Well, when it's your incubator, we're doing a 50-50 revenue share. Can't beat that, can you? Well, you know that the clients are going to pay a $999 deposit when they enroll in the small business incubator. Yeah, you get half of that. So what is that? Around $500, of course. Now, as an incubator manager, you're getting half of their capital raise. We charge 6% normally performance fee. And if you're getting half, that's of course 3%. So now you're making on average, a minimum, not on average, a minimum of $3,000 versus $1,000, right? The difference is instead of 1%, you're making 3%. If you're licensed, you'll sell the key person policy. So that's another stream of revenue. Now, this is a variable here. I'll explain, and then you'll decide if you want to do this part or not. Commonly, when incubators accept businesses in or help start new businesses, they'll take a minority equity stake, because every once in a while, we predict about 1 out of 100 clients will hit it really big. And what a better way to build a personal portfolio, right? You could go open a 401k with Edward Jones and get a mutual fund of a number of different stocks off the S&P 500, for example, or you could have literal ownership in 100 different companies and have a much more meaningful impact. So when we set up your incubator, we'll decide if we want to take an equity position, a small equity position in incubator participants or not. That'll be up to you. But that is a potential significant wealth building aspect of running an incubator. How do we go about doing this? Well, we need to get you set up as one of our branch manager incubator partners. We'll set up an incubator together, and that incubator could be either housed within our incubator, so it's the easiest and quickest implementation, or we could set up a different physical location near you. Of course, that's going to be a bit more complicated because now we're going to need a commercial address there. We already have everything here, but in either case, it operates the same. Don't let the address be an issue. And then we implement. Now, implement means you're running that incubator, right? We're going to train you. We're going to support you. We're going to work together. We're going to split the revenue 50-50. All's good. But, this is a much bigger deal. Now, it's a much bigger income potential, of course. If you're not making 7 figures as an incubator manager, 7 figures annually, then we're not doing it right. So let's go back and summarize and then go through your questions, comments, concerns. What is the key to earning a great income? Separate from us, just in general. You need to have something that other people need. If you're a good housekeeper, you could have people pay you to go clean their house. And so while that can be rewarding, the income potential is limited. We could do the DoorDash. We could be the best DoorDash delivery person in the world, but we're probably only going to make around $20 an hour. I was a college professor. I wouldn't say I was a great college professor, but I was a college professor. Total comp package of around 6 digits, working about 20 hours a week, quite frankly. But that wasn't my potential. And I think many of you probably aren't doing what's hitting your income potential. Any of these 3 scenarios are going to certainly put you into 6 figures. The credit literacy educator, the easiest of which. The financial literacy educator is not much different than the credit literacy educator. You're feeding them into a different solution and you're writing the policy. Or if you want to be more fully involved and have the biggest income potential, it's collaborating and forming a branch or an incubator. So let's get to the questions that you all have about these three different roles, because if you get your arms around this and execute, you're going to earn a great income. If we're just looking at it and thinking about it, I don't know that you're going to generate much income. It's going to take action, isn't it? Okay, so let's go through, and if you want to pop in your questions, comments, and concerns into the Q&A, I'm going to start working through them right now. So let's see here, we're scrolling down. And I guess most of you had responded to the original question, which was here at the top, what's the key? Well, what I'd like to do is get feedback from each of you. What questions, what comments, what concerns do you have about collaborating to earn a great income, a material income? And it starts with identifying what problem do you want to solve? Because if we're focused, if all we want to do is help people improve their credit, then this is probably the right role. If we want to work with small businesses and help them solve this problem, then this is the right role. If we want to do something on a larger scale and be an incubator manager, then this is the right role. Certainly the income is the highest, and all of them are valuable roles. I know that I wanted to kind of spiff up my transportation. So it was a couple of weeks ago, I went into a Mercedes dealership. And I said, well, I'd like to look at a new S-Class Mercedes. And on the showroom floor here, they get this S560, list price of $122,000. I said, well, can you pull it off the showroom floor? I'd like to take it for a drive. And so they moved cars around and took it off, and I bought it that day. And so, they're asking, the question is, well, what do you do? How can you afford such an expensive vehicle? I run an incubator. That's what I do. I'm an incubator manager, and everybody's like, oh, that's awesome. I tell you, there's a lot of pride in running a small business incubator. I hope that many of you will consider partnering with us to go start an incubator. It has the greatest income potential. It makes the greatest impact in other people's lives, and it's a lot of fun. But regardless of that, all three roles are important and valuable. They solve different problems for different people. Okay, who has a question about any of these roles? Because what we want to do is pick the role that we're comfortable in, and we want to execute it, right? We want to execute it. We want to implement, we want to help others and generate a significant adult income. And it's very, very possible with any of these, right? The credit literacy educator, Robert's asking about cost. Credit literacy educator is no cost, but there is a background check fee of $99, and that's reimbursable. We used to have a background check fee for the financial literacy educators. We've now been able to eliminate that, thank goodness. And you just really come in through as an affiliate now. So no upfront cost for that. Just drive people in. And then, of course, this is a more significant role here when we're actually setting up an incubator together. Now, there's a cost to set up an incubator, as you would expect, but we finance that at 0% interest, so it will never be a barrier. But there's obviously a bigger investment in setting up an incubator, to no surprise. But it has the biggest income potential. So 3 different roles that people can choose from. Can you do more than one role? Of course. But just to keep it simple, I think all of us need to figure out what it is that we're wanting to do. Which of the roles is the right fit for me? Now, I'm going to end on this other comment unless you have other questions. Commonly, we're going to be helping small businesses that are pre-revenue. So I'm not saying all of our clients are that way. That's not my point. But in many cases, we'll have clients that are pre-revenue, which essentially means they're not making any money yet, either because they haven't even formed their business or they don't have the minimum capital necessary to start operating. So if that's the case, then one of the arrows that you have in your quiver is they frankly could become one of these three roles, probably not the incubator because that would be too big of a distraction. That's a bigger involvement. But you could take someone, whether they're a baker or auto mechanic or an attorney or whatever role they may have, if they don't have the capital to generate the revenue they need for their business, then let them know, hey, we can help you with earned income. Become a credit literacy educator. Put an extra $10,000 a month into your business bank account. What's that going to do? That's going to build your bank balance. It's going to build your bank rating. It's going to strengthen your income statement, and it's going to help them have access to capital. Now, you and I know it's a different revenue line than probably baking muffins or putting mufflers on or being an attorney, but the bank statements and QuickBooks don't really care. It's money coming in that wasn't coming in before, so they have working capital. And so you may not fully appreciate, but the fact that you and I can help people inject earned income if they don't have the ability to earn their own. We just learned about a new loan program this morning, so I won't roll it out today. We'll talk about it next week. And it'll go down to a 525 credit score for startups. So very low credit requirement. And we're starting to see more of the lending vehicles come back online that went down during the pandemic. But one of the requirements is we have to show some income. Well, that's a challenge for some people unless they have a resource like we're talking about, which is specifically right here. Anyone can become a credit literacy educator. The problem that we're solving is rampant. We're not charging any upfront fees, so we'll be able to enroll a bunch of clients. And in 30 to 60 days, all of a sudden, there's a significant revenue stream coming into the educator. All right. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns before we end today's webinar and we need to pick our role? What is it that we want to do? We want to do really well, and then let's implement. We can be a credit literacy educator or we can be a financial literacy educator. So again, working more on credit alone versus capital raise for clients versus running an incubator. Any of those roles are fine. We need more of all. So there's no persuasion in trying to get you to do something that's not in your best interest. But if you have an interest in the financial services space, making money by helping others, there's three great options that are on the table for you. But we have to execute, we have to implement, we have to do something to be able to generate income. And that's the point we wanted to make today. All right, well, happy Friday 13th. We'll be back Monday morning. Have a great day and a great weekend. Talk to you soon.